First contact and deception. The massive Myraxian warship emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system, its crystalline hull refracting starlight in mesmerizing patterns. Supreme Commander Vexthor stood on the bridge, his iridescent scales shifting colors as he studied the holographic display of the third planet from the sun. Analysis, he commanded, his multifaceted eyes fixed on the blue-green world. Science Officer Kiratel stepped forward, her tendrils dancing with bioluminescent patterns indicating excitement. The planet matches all our criteria. Supreme Commander. Oxygen, nitrogen atmosphere, abundant water, rich mineral deposits, and, she paused for effect, a developing civilization. Vexthor's mouthparts curved into what passed for a smile among his species. Show me. The hologram zoomed in, displaying Earth's orbital infrastructure, primitive satellites, a small space station, and scattered debris. Surface scans revealed cities, roads, and what the Myraxians classified as basic industrial capabilities. Their technological level, Vexthor inquired. Early space age. They've achieved nuclear fission and basic rocket technology, but no signs of antimatter manipulation or quantum engineering. Their most advanced weapons appear to be chemical propellant projectiles and crude nuclear devices. The Supreme Commander's scales rippled with amusement. The Myraxian Empire had conquered hundreds of worlds at this development stage. These conquests followed a familiar pattern. Arrive, demonstrate overwhelming technological superiority, and accept their surrender. Those who resisted simply hastened their own defeat. Deploy the fleet in standard conquest formation, Vexthor ordered. Let's show these primitives what true power looks like. Across Earth's major cities, people stopped and stared as massive crystalline ships materialized in the sky. Their appearance sparked panic, wonder, and everything in between. But in a hidden facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Sarah Chen remained perfectly calm as she watched the alien vessels appear on her monitors. Right on schedule, she murmured, turning to her second-in-command. Colonel Martinez, initiate Protocol Omega, and get me a secure line to the other defense centers. The colonel nodded, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. Yes, General. Beijing, Moscow, and New Delhi are already online. London and Tokyo connecting now. Around the world, similar scenes play out in secret underground facilities. For 30 years, humanity had prepared for this moment, ever since they'd detected the first Myraxian scout probe at the edge of the solar system. The aliens thought they were being stealthy, but Earth's quantum detection grid had picked them up immediately. The world's governments had made a unanimous decision: appear primitive, while secretly advancing their technology far beyond what the Myraxians could imagine. Every satellite launch failure, every apparent setback in space exploration had been carefully orchestrated to maintain the deception. General Chen sat down at the Central Command Station as the Myraxians' message began broadcasting worldwide. People of Earth, we are the Myraxian Empire. Your world has been chosen for incorporation into our dominion. Surrender within 6 hours, and you will be allowed to serve as productive members of our society. Resist and face extinction. The general allowed herself a small smile. The Myraxians had no idea that Earth's apparent primitive state was carefully crafted misdirection. Hidden beneath the oceans, within mountains, and in orbital platforms disguised as space junk, lay humanity's true technological achievements: quantum phase shields, dark matter weapons, and artificial intelligence systems far more sophisticated than anything the Myraxians possessed. All defense centers report ready, General, Colonel Martinez announced. Quantum shields are charged but inactive. Weapon systems primed but cold. Everything is exactly as we planned. Good, Chen replied, watching the Myraxian ships settle into their threatening positions above Earth's major cities. Let them think they have us at their mercy. Let them believe their sensors that show nothing but primitive defenses and panicked responses. She opened a channel to all defense centers. This is General Chen. Maintain Protocol Omega. Let them posture. Let them threaten. In 6 hours, they'll learn why you should never judge a civilization by its satellites. The Myraxians watched with satisfaction as Earth's government scrambled to respond, as military forces mobilized with their primitive weapons, as humans ran panicked through their streets. Everything was proceeding exactly as they expected. They had no idea they were watching a carefully choreographed performance, or that beneath the apparent chaos, humanity was preparing to demonstrate just how dangerous it was to underestimate Earth. Hidden strength. In the depths of the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Maya Patel stood before a massive window, watching schools of fish dart past the crystalline barrier of Atlantis Base. The secret facility, hidden beneath 3 miles of water, housed humanity's most advanced quantum engineering labs. Behind her, dozens of technicians monitored the swirling patterns of the base's dark matter reactor core. "Dr. Patel," the voice called. She turned to see her colleague, Dr. James Chen, hurrying toward her. "The Myraxians are doing exactly what the simulations predicted. They're positioning their fleet in a standard intimidation formation." Maya nodded, her mind drifting back to the day that changed everything. 15 years ago, she'd been a graduate student when the quantum archaeology team made their discovery in the Amazon rainforest, the remains of an ancient alien survey post left behind by a long-vanished species. The technology they recovered had given humanity a priceless advantage: knowledge of the galaxy's major powers, including the Myraxian Empire. "Status of the quantum shield network?" she asked, following James to the central control room. "All nodes reporting optimal functionality. The camouflage systems are working perfectly. Their scans show nothing but normal ocean currents." James pulled up a holographic display showing the global network of quantum shield generators. "They still think they're dealing with a pre-quantum civilization." Above them, Supreme Commander Vexthor was growing increasingly confident. His fleet's sensors showed Earth's military forces mobilizing with their primitive weapons: tanks, aircraft, missiles. Some of the humans were even pointing ordinary radio telescopes at his ships, as if such simple devices could penetrate Myraxian stealth technology. "Their response is exactly as expected," Science Officer Kira Tell reported. "Their global communication networks are filled with panic and confusion. Their leaders are attempting to coordinate a response, but their technology can barely maintain secure communications." Vexthor's scales rippled with satisfaction. "Begin the next phase. Target their primitive military installations. A few precision strikes should accelerate their decision to surrender." The Myraxian warships charged their primary weapon systems, crystal matrices humming with power. Their sensors remained focused on Earth's surface, completely missing the quantum fluctuations happening in orbit around them. In her office at the United Nations, Secretary General Amara Okafor watched the Myraxian fleet with calculated calm. On her desk, a small quantum communicator, disguised as an ordinary paperweight, kept her in constant contact with Earth's hidden defense network. "Status report," she subvocalized, the quantum device picking up the neural signals directly from her auditory cortex. "All systems ready, Madam Secretary," General Chen's voice replied in her mind. "The Myraxians are preparing to demonstrate their weapons capability, exactly as the behavioral models predicted." Amara allowed herself a small smile. The Myraxians' psychological warfare tactics were almost laughably predictable. They'd used the same approach on dozens of worlds, never imagining that Earth had studied and analyzed their conquest patterns for years. Deep beneath the Sahara Desert, in another hidden facility, Dr. Victor Rossi made final adjustments to the quantum AI core that would coordinate humanity's defense systems. The artificial intelligence, far more sophisticated than anything the Myraxians possessed, had run millions of simulations of this encounter. "Final diagnostic complete," his assistant announced. "Athena is ready." Victor nodded, watching the AI's quantum processors manipulate streams of probability. Athena had been developed using principles reverse-engineered from the ancient alien technology, combined with humanity's unique approaches to machine learning and consciousness simulation. Athene, status report, he commanded. The AI's response appeared as flowing text across his neural interface. All defense systems integrated. Quantum shield network at 100% efficiency. Dark matter weapon platforms ready but dormant. Myraxian fleet behavior matching predicted patterns with 99.7% accuracy. They remain unaware of our true capabilities. The Myraxians' ultimatum had 4 hours remaining. Around the world, humanity's hidden strength continued to build. In underwater bases, mountain bunkers, and orbital platforms disguised as debris, advanced weapon systems powered up. Quantum shields hummed at frequencies the Myraxians couldn't detect. Dark matter reactors spun up to full capacity. On the surface, Earth's militaries continued their show of mobilizing conventional forces. Tanks rolled through streets, fighters scrambled from airbases, and missile silos opened their covers. The Myraxians watched it all, their sensors recording exactly what humanity wanted them to see. In the Rocky Mountain facility, General Chen received a priority alert from Athene. The AI had detected power signatures indicating the Myraxians were preparing to demonstrate their weapons on military targets. "Right on schedule," she murmured, sending a quantum-encrypted message to all defense centers. "Prepare for Phase 2. Let them fire first. Let them think they've drawn first blood. Then we'll show them why you should never judge a book by its cover." The Myraxians' weapons began to glow, crystal matrices channeling enormous energy. They had no idea they were about to strike at carefully prepared targets, bases filled with obsolete equipment, and convincing holographic projections. They had no idea that humanity's real military strength lay hidden, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal itself. Supreme Commander Vexthor gave the order to fire, completely confident in his species' technological superiority. In less than an hour, he would learn just how wrong he was. The counterstrike. Brilliant beams of energy lanced down from the Myraxian ships, striking military bases across Earth. Supreme Commander Vexthor watched with satisfaction as explosions bloomed across the surface. The humans' primitive sensors wouldn't even have detected the quantum-shifted plasma until it was too late. Direct hits on all targets, Karatel reported, her tendrils pulsing with excitement. Their defensive installations are being destroyed exactly as planned. But in the Rocky Mountain Command Center, General Chen watched the Myraxian attack with a predator smile. The aliens were destroying empty bases and holographic projections, carefully crafted to appear as primary military installations. Athene, begin countdown to Phase 2, she commanded. The quantum AI acknowledged. Its consciousness spread across the global defense network. In hidden facilities worldwide, humanity's real weapons stirred to life. Vexthor was studying the damage reports when something changed. His ship's sensors detected a brief energy fluctuation in Earth's orbit, so brief he almost missed it. Then another and another. "Supreme Commander," his sensor officer called out in alarm. Multiple quantum signatures appearing around the planet. What had appeared to be simple space debris suddenly shed their camouflage fields. Hundreds of satellites revealed their true nature, advanced weapon platforms bristling with dark matter cannons. The orbital defense grid that humanity had spent decades building in plain sight was finally showing its teeth. "Impossible," Vexthor breathed, his scales shifting to the color of alarm. Their technology level, they couldn't have. All defense platforms, weapons free. General Chen's order echoed through the quantum network. "Show them what humanity can really do." The orbital grid opened fire. Dark matter beams, invisible to conventional sensors, struck the Myraxian fleet with devastating precision. The aliens' supposedly impenetrable shields, based on crystal matrix technology, shattered under weapons they hadn't even known could exist. In the Pacific, Dr. Maya Patel gave the command to activate the quantum shield network. Massive generators hidden in ocean trenches and mountain ranges powered up, projecting an energy barrier around Earth that made the Myraxians' defensive technology look primitive by comparison. By the first egg, Caratel gasped as her sensors finally detected the true extent of Earth's technological capability. Supreme Commander, they've been hiding their real technology level. These readings, they're centuries ahead of what we thought. Vexthor's flagship shuddered as another dark matter beam struck its hull. Return fire, he ordered. Full power to all weapons. But humanity had planned for this moment down to the smallest detail. As the Myraxian ships charged their weapons, HFY executed the next phase of Earth's defense. Hidden platforms in the asteroid belt, disguised as simple rocks, revealed themselves and opened fire from behind, catching the alien fleet in a devastating crossfire. Multiple hull breaches, a Myraxian officer shouted. The humans are using quantum phase targeting. They're hitting us between our shield frequencies. In her UN office, Secretary General Okafor opened a channel to the Myraxian fleet. Her voice was calm, almost pitying. Supreme Commander Vexthor, this is Earth. We've spent decades preparing for this moment. Your standard conquest protocol was predictable. We've studied your species since you first sent scout probes into our system. Would you like to discuss surrender terms? Vexthor's response was to launch his ship's full complement of crystal missiles, weapons that could level cities. They never reached their targets. Quantum interceptors, hidden in Earth's atmosphere, swatted them from the sky like insects. Their entire tactical database is compromised, HFY reported through the neural network. We're predicting their moves before they make them. Their command structure is falling into chaos. General Chen nodded, watching the battle unfold exactly as their simulations had predicted. Launch the Fireflies, she ordered. From bases hidden beneath Earth's polar ice caps, swarms of autonomous quantum drones emerge. Each one was smaller than a human hand, nearly invisible to conventional sensors, and carried weaponry that could pierce Myraxian hull armor like paper. The aliens had never seen anything like them. The drone swarms flowed around their ships like schools of fish, finding every weakness, exploiting every gap in their defenses. Crystal armor began to crack and shatter under the precise, coordinated assault. We're losing ships, Caratel reported, her voice edged with panic. 6 destroyers gone. 9. They're cutting through our fleet like it's not even there. Vexthor watched in horror as his mighty fleet, the pride of the Myraxian Empire, was systematically dismantled by the very primitives they'd come to conquer. Everything he believed about Earth's technological capability had been wrong, catastrophically wrong. All ships, emergency retreat, he ordered. Get us out of this system. But as the surviving Myraxian vessels tried to power up their faster-than-light drives, they discovered one final surprise. The humans had already thought of that too. No escape. As the Myraxian ships attempted to engage their faster-than-light drives, their crews discovered something terrifying. They couldn't access hyperspace. The quantum frequencies necessary for FTL travel were being actively disrupted by a field emanating from Earth's lunar surface. What is this? Vexthor demanded, his scales now pale with fear. How are they blocking our escape? The answer lay in the moon's far side. There, hidden from Earth's surface, humanity had constructed its greatest engineering achievement, the quantum lock array. Thousands of generators, built into the lunar regolith, created an overlapping field that turned local space into a trap for the Myraxian fleet. Dr. Victor Rossi monitored the array's performance from his Sahara facility. Athena, status of the quantum lock. Field stability at 99.8%, the AI reported. The Myraxian fleet is completely contained. Their FTL technology cannot function within the field. In orbit, the battle had turned into a rout. Earth's defense platforms and Firefly drones continued their relentless assault, systematically targeting the Myraxians' vital systems. The aliens' supposedly advanced technology was being countered at every turn by weapons and defenses they hadn't even known were possible. General Chen opened a channel to all Earth forces. Remember the protocol. Disable, don't destroy. We want prisoners and intact technology. The Firefly swarms adjusted their attack patterns, now focusing on weapons and propulsion systems rather than critical hull sections. The quantum phase beams from Earth's defense platforms precisely carved away at the Myraxian ship's capabilities, leaving them stranded and defenseless. On his flagship's bridge, Supreme Commander Vexthor watched his empire's greatest fleet reduced to floating hulks. "How?" he whispered. "How did we not see this coming?" The answer came from his science officer, who had been analyzing the human technologies they faced. "Sir," Kiratel reported, her voice shaking, "these weapons, these defenses, they're not just advanced versions of known technology. The humans took completely different development paths than any species we encountered. They saw possibilities we never imagined." In the Pacific facility, Dr. Maya Patel monitored the quantum shield network's performance. The Myraxians had launched hundreds of desperate attacks against Earth's defenses, and not a single one had penetrated. Their crystal matrix weapons, so effective against conventional shields, were useless against humanity's quantum phase barriers. "They're powering down their weapons," James reported. "Fleet-wide shutdown of offensive systems. I think they're surrendering." Secretary General Okafor's voice came through the quantum network again. "Supreme Commander Vexthor, your fleet is trapped and disarmed. Your weapons cannot penetrate our shields. Your FTL drives cannot function. You have precisely one chance to surrender before we demonstrate our full offensive capabilities." The silence that followed lasted only seconds, but it felt like hours. Finally, Vexthor's reply came through. This is Supreme Commander Vexthor of the Myraxian Empire. We surrender." General Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Athena, begin capture protocols. Deploy the boarding teams." From Earth's surface, sleek vessels rose into orbit. Unlike the bulky, crystalline designs of Myraxian ships, these craft were smooth and almost organic in appearance. They carried specialized teams trained for exactly this moment. Soldiers equipped with quantum phase armor and neural interface weapons. As the boarding teams approached the defeated Myraxian vessels, Dr. Victor Rossi received a priority alert from Athena. The AI had detected a quantum surge from deep space. The Myraxian Empire had received Vexthor's surrender transmission. "They'll be sending reinforcements," he announced to the command network, "probably their entire home fleet." "Good," General Chen replied, and there was a predatory satisfaction in her voice. "Let them come. It's time the galaxy learned that Earth is not, and never was, easy prey." Throughout the solar system, humanity's hidden defenses continued to power up. The quantum shield network expanded its coverage. Dark matter weaponry charged to full capacity, and in secret facilities across the planet, engineers and scientists prepared to reveal technologies that would reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. The Myraxian Empire had thought they found an easy conquest. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant, one that had spent decades preparing for this very moment. And now, as the first human boarding teams breached the hull of Vexthor's flagship, the real demonstration of Earth's power was about to begin. A new dawn. 3 days after the surrender of the Myraxian fleet, Secretary General Okafor stood before the United Nations General Assembly. The chamber was packed, with representatives from every nation on Earth present to witness this historic moment. Behind her, a holographic display showed the captured Myraxian vessels, now surrounded by Earth's revealed defense fleet. "For 30 years," she began, "humanity kept its greatest secret. We advanced our technology in shadows, always maintaining the illusion of a primitive civilization. Today that mask comes off. Today we take our place among the stars." In lunar orbit, Supreme Commander Vexthor watched the broadcast from his flagship's detention center. The human boarding teams had taken control of the Myraxian vessels with embarrassing ease, their quantum phase armor making the aliens' internal defenses useless. Now he was learning just how thoroughly his empire had been outmaneuvered. Dr. Maya Patel led a team through the captured flagship, studying the Myraxian technology. Their crystal matrix systems are impressive, she commented to James, but they locked themselves into a single technological path. They never even considered the possibilities of quantum engineering or dark matter manipulation. In the ship's engineering section, human technicians were already beginning to integrate their own systems with the Myraxian technology. The aliens watched in disbelief as their supposedly advanced equipment was modified and improved by the very primitives they'd come to conquer. Athena's warning came exactly when the simulations had predicted. Multiple quantum signatures detected at the edge of the solar system. Myraxian reinforcement fleet incoming. Composition matches our projections. 300 capital ships, including their flagship Imperial Dawn. General Chen's response was calm and measured. Right on schedule. Athena, execute Operation Lighthouse. Throughout the solar system, humanity's full defensive network revealed itself. The quantum shield network expanded to its maximum range, encompassing the entire solar system. Hidden installations on Mars, Venus, and the larger asteroids powered up weapons that made the previous battle's firepower look like firecrackers. The Myraxian reinforcement fleet emerged from hyperspace to find a transformed solar system. Where they had expected to find a primitive civilization, they instead faced the most formidable defensive network they had ever encountered. Secretary General Okafor's transmission reached them before they could even begin combat maneuvers. This is Earth. You are now witnessing a fraction of our true capabilities. Your advance fleet has surrendered. Supreme Commander Vexthor is our guest. Before you make any decisions, let me share some information about your crystal matrix weapons. The transmission that followed contained detailed scans of the Myraxian fleet's primary weapon systems, along with the exact frequencies needed to disable them. It was a clear message. Earth could have destroyed their ships at any time. We don't want war, Okafor continued. We never did. That's why we hid our capabilities, hoping to avoid conflict. But make no mistake, if you force this confrontation, you will not enjoy the outcome. In his detention center, Vexthor watched the exchange with a new understanding. We never stood a chance, he said to his guard, a human lieutenant. You were always ahead of us. The lieutenant smiled. We had to be. Our quantum sensors detected your scout probes years ago. We knew you were coming, so we prepared. Every satellite you saw, every primitive weapon you detected, was part of the deception. The response from the Myraxian reinforcement fleet came within the hour. They would withdraw. More importantly, they would carry word back to their empire of Earth's true nature. The galaxy's balance of power had shifted in a single day. In the days that followed, humanity began revealing its advances to the wider galaxy. The quantum shield network became a model for planetary defense. The dark matter weapons revolutionized space combat doctrine. But most importantly, Earth's emergence changed how the galaxy's powers thought about technological development. Dr. Victor Rossi, speaking to a conference of alien scientists, summed it up best. The greatest mistake in technological development is assuming there's only one path forward. Earth didn't just advance. We advanced differently. We saw possibilities that others missed because they were too focused on their established technologies. The captured Myraxian ships were eventually returned to their empire, but not before being studied thoroughly. Earth established diplomatic relations with various galactic powers, now dealing from a position of revealed strength rather than perceived weakness. And in the Rocky Mountain Command Center, General Chen added a final entry to the mission log: Operation Deception complete. Phase 1 of humanity's emergence successful. The galaxy now knows that Earth is not to be underestimated. Phase 2 begins, showing them that we can be not just powerful, but wise. Not just strong, but just. The stars await, and humanity is ready. The Myraxian Empire had sought an easy conquest. Instead, they had introduced themselves to humanity's carefully hidden power. As Earth's ships now moved freely through the galaxy, other civilizations learned an important lesson. Never judge a species by its satellites. Sometimes, the most dangerous predator is the one that chooses to hide its claws.